All right, today on Knowing the Ropes, I'm up here at the Russell's Gym. Today I got no other than Gary Antuanne Russell, a.k.a. the last Russell, a.k.a. if you at the 140, you better get out the way with a current record of 13 wins, 13 KOs. What's good today?
Man, I'm alive. That's the first blessing. You know, I'm in the gym grinding as usual, and we gotta keep the gas pedal on the floor. We're gonna keep it rocking and rolling.
You know, I want to go back. Previously to the whole pandemic starting and the COVID-19, you had a fight. How has life changed for you since the pandemic has started and what you see now with the COVID-19?
I'll say I've been keeping myself more distance, anti-distance, you know, as far as socially. Of course, as far as the training, ain't nothing really changed. Even when we quarantined ourselves, we got property. Bring the gym to where we live. We started from the basement and we just happened to work our way, muscle our way through the obstacles that was in life, and we got ourselves a gym. That came from work. That came from determination and not wanting to be in a position that we used to be in. So as far as the training regimen, it slowed down a little bit, I'd say for a good 2 weeks or so we can get everything in order dealing with the coronavirus, all of the cleaning products, all of the foods, stuff like that we had to stock up, you know, to make sure we was prepared, you know, because we don't know what's going to happen. The government playing a lot of trickery, but that's a whole nother topic, ladies and gentlemen, you know. So after that 2 weeks was up, we wind up training back at the house, full-fledged, mix, dance rounds, shuttlebutts rounds, weights, you know. You know, now that we back in the gym, you know, fluently, ain't nothing changing as far as the mentality.
You know, the PBC currently put out their schedule for boxing from now to the end of the year. Are there any plans for you to fight before the year is out?
Definitely. It's to be announced. I got my eyes on a couple of fighters that's been seasoned, I believe, in my eyes. I think they are a stellar opponent that fits my caliber. I'm not saying that the people that I did go against didn't fit my caliber. I just believe that I was just that much high above them. I was just that greater that day. You know, boxing, things can change in the drop of a hat. I seen fights go 4-12 rounds and the guy was winning the whole 12 until the 5 seconds at the ending of the 12 rounds, he got caught, knocked out, you know, so you gotta be on point at every given second in boxing. But not to jump to conclusion, you know, it's things that you gotta remind yourself as far as muscle memory and things like that in the gym and out the gym, that you gotta remind yourself to practice, because not all the time you won't have the environment that you can be working on that.
You know, I want to go back to previous interviews you did after your last fight, where you talked about the Olympics and how they robbed you and that bitterness that you carry. No, what I'm saying with that is, when you go into the ring, is your mentality is to take your opponent out and not leave it into the hands of the refs.
Definitely. Of course, we go in there with a game plan. All of the training goes on in the gym before we go in the ring in the fight. You know, so as far as a game plan being established and being ready to execute, that's already done before we go before the fight. You know, so come fight night, we're ready to stick our teeth in something. You know, and that's practically it. Follow simple orders at that given moment, execute them. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be the same orders that you've been working on in the gym. You know, so as far as my mind going elsewhere, as far as when I hop in the square, there's one rule: seek and destroy. That's it. That's all.
You know, I want to go back to one of the things that you said that you learned from your father. Only thing constant in life is change. Explain that.
Definitely. Only thing constant in life is change. People get older. You know, feelings go away, feelings come. That's just the natural thing of life. You know, I believe that as people, we have to learn how to adapt, and we got to embrace the fact that that is something that can't be changed, and that is a constant. So like I said, you got to cross your T's and dot your I's in and out the ring. So remember that. That's what I say. It's a blessing to have an older brother or a father that's a coach and a father. You know, to be around that type of environment is a blessing in itself, because it's an environment that's going to be constantly working your tools, sharpening your tools. You know, without you asking. It's a gimme, and that's the blessing in it.
You know, with you being the last Russell, what have you learned from your brother's experiences as far as boxing, the good and the bad?
Oh man, keep your hands up, keep your chin tucked. That's the bad, you know. Spawn, oldest brother, he showed me a lot in training. All of my brothers showed me a lot. You know, I learned from all of my brothers, learned from my coach, learned from my father. The whole rundown, y'all know the typical. If you're around it long enough, you start to pick up traits, you know. But I believe the special flaws and the benefits from being a brother that has a world champion as an older brother, training around me. It's like you see the small petite things that you gotta do yourself. Because he was on another level, it's like he went through the Olympics. I went through the Olympics. But the time frame, that gap, it shows, it comes with wisdom. The same difference with elderly and the youth. You know, it's not that y'all not living on the same playing field, it's just that one been here longer. So he's showing me what not to do as far as keep my hands tight, what to do as far as the all set, a southpaw or an orthodox fighter. You know, and like I said, the Olympics, they robbed me, and I learned through the course of these years, and it's starting to show in my professional career. It's like positions is one thing. Every fighter, every gym has their own positions. They have their own gym credo on how they train, on how they repetitiously do things. We do stuff different. We do stuff totally different. We try to maximize our power without using brute strength. It is a scientific method, you know, and that comes with due to time of you learning. You gotta sit, be patient, go through wear and tear, burn, soreness and all that. That's gym work. You gotta go through all that to start to learn these things and incorporate these skills. My father, I believe, man, he is a genius, because he took Junior and Allen III, and it kind of trickled down, you know, it worked. The proof was in the pudding. Even as a young Gary Russell Jr., Gary Allen Russell III, when he was young, I say 9, 8, proof was in the pudding. My father came up with a recipe and saw out of all of these other phenomenal icons, Larry Holmes, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, Joe Louis. A lot of these old fighters that are icons. The fighting styles that aren't the same anymore. The tenacity isn't the same anymore in the fighters nowadays than it was back then. My father, he bottled up some type of concoction and he focused in on them because he was so submerged in boxing, and he figured out a formula to kind of make it perfect to his liking. He put that in Gary Allen Russell III and Gary Russell Jr. And when they started going to tournaments and they was training, he was teaching them this in the basement. And when they started training and he's seeing that they getting sharp, and he doing it, and Allen doing it, and they looking the part, and they doing it back to back to back to back to back. They doing it consistently. It's easy for somebody to do something once or twice, but now they doing it consistently. Then they getting put in tournaments, and they winning these tournaments with these same tools that my father done put together from the years of wisdom that he done brought into himself, submerged into himself, and learned from others, the icon fighters. Of course, himself, because the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. You know, my father was a fighter. That's what made him want to pass it down. He was boxing himself into a hunting accident. He messed his knee bone up. You know, but the information was still passed down to Gary Allen Russell III and Gary Russell Jr. And when that seed had grew, I believe that's when me, myself, and Gary Antonio Russell started really boxing. Because it was a seed that germinated, that attracted. it attracted not just the outsiders, like, oh man, like my sons are nice. Look at him shadow box. My sons is nice. Look at him stop this young kid in this tournament. It became more than just a extended loved one attraction. It became an immediate attraction, like an immediate family attraction. I was like, ooh and ah. That's when I started loving it. We was doing it in the basement. And from that type of intelligence to be groomed and harnessed and then produced into Gary Allen Russell III and Gary Russell Jr. and it to germinate, and you see them going to tournaments and getting gold medal here, national champion here, silver medalist here, national gold medalist here, there. Golden Gloves national champions from the basement. I came up from the basement. That's when we just started getting a civilization of our own establishment, our own gyms. We were sharing with churches. We had our own hours and stuff like that. But still, it started, the homegrown stuff started from the basement. The reason why I was pricked, my intelligence and my willingness was pricked to even want to do boxing because it started from the basement, and I sowed a seed that my father had planted at the time. It didn't make sense to me until I'm now of age. But doing that, it was just an abundance of excitement and inspiring, inspiration. My brothers did it, and it made me want to do it. I started getting better at it. I started fighting in tournaments. I started winning tournaments. I started wanting to learn the science more. Now you got, like I said, the Golden Gloves. Won the Golden Gloves from basement and home training. I was inspired and fueled by my family, my brothers, my father, from the concoction and the infusement that he done put together through the years of learning, the years of training himself. You know, that's wisdom. That just don't come by easy. People aren't just blessed with wisdom. If it's not given to you, you better look up and hopefully you have it. You know, but it triggers outside and inside the ring, and I'm saying all of this because a lot of people don't understand what makes people hop in the sport of boxing. A lot of people don't know why they hop in the sport of boxing. They just see athletes at the end of the day, or they just see people fighting at the end of the day. But when you got people that live by the laws of the sport and where it come from, it brings a different passion and a different background to the story. It brings a different piece of the puzzle, you know, together to the picture, you know what I mean? You know, so I'm saying all of this and it's running off, but like I'm saying, I was inspired by Gary Russell Jr., Gary Allen Russell, Gary Antonio Russell. I even had another brother, Gary, that Ricky box. But I was inspired from the homegrown. And now that I'm here and I see more, it's like I gotta go further, because that's what I've been nourished to understand in the first place. That is more. It's more. We started from the basement. That's what's being put in me in the first place from the jump. That is more out here. Anybody that's watching this understand that there's more out here. If you got good, it's better.